Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Daytona Beach, Florida for tonight's Superior Class Auto Racing ARCA Series Daytona 200, presented by the Hateful Chicken. We've got a great event in store for everyone here tonight. 200 laps around this 2.5 mile super speedway. We've got pack racing, drafting, high speeds, bumper to bumper. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss a moment of the action here tonight. Practice just getting underway, or just wrapping up for that matter. About 10 minutes left in the session. Let's go down and see if we got anybody on track right now. It doesn't look like it. Maybe Mark Truxell. Not quite yet. Maybe doing the driver's meeting right now. That could be what's going on. Cars are running. Drivers, most of them are in their cars. I'd imagine they're going to head out here pretty shortly as soon as the driver's meeting wraps up. Take the opportunity to get a few laps in before practice concludes and we go into qualifying. But while you're all waiting, now's the time. Order some food, especially those of you guys sitting at the Hateful Chicken. Get a plate of food, get a cold beverage. Get ready for the action here in tonight's ARCA Series Daytona 200. Chris Middleton checking in. How are you tonight? Early, not even qualifying, and I already got comments. This is good. If this is a sign of things to come, it's going to be a chatty evening. Once again, let's go over some things. Tonight's event, Daytona 200. We got 200 miles around the Daytona International Speedway. Tonight's Superior Class Auto Racing ARCA Series. Got about 15 cars so far in the session. It's not too late. We may have a couple more popping in. Again, tonight, 200 miles, 80 laps, Daytona International Speedway. Going to be run in the dark. Not on track, though. We've got a great Musco lighting system to highlight all the action around this 2.5 mile super speedway. Weather tonight, not the warmest. 67 degrees outside and track temp 69 degrees. Can't imagine we're going to have a whole lot of handling issues this evening. These cars do move around quite a bit in the draft, though. Tires will come into play later on. Not like you'd expect to see on a short track like Richmond or Dover or something along those lines, but tires will play a factor. If there's an opportunity late in the race for these guys that are back in the pack to stop down pit lane and get some fresh rubber, head back out on the track, it does give them a little bit of an advantage as far as being able to make the moves that they normally wouldn't be able to make late in the run. So might be an advantage, something to look out for later on. So still showing about 5 minutes left in practice. No cars on track right now. Meantime, we've got our usual suspects in the chat. Anna Garza checking in, happy about no short track. You know, short tracks are fun, but yeah, coming to Daytona, can't go wrong there. Debbie Rose chiming in, hollering for Brian Rose. And the Hateful Chicken, of course, ready to see what's going to happen. I'm sure it's going to be plenty of action, so don't go far. Sounds like we've got cars on course. Let's take a peek. On board with Colt Ainsley and that number 86 Rick Motec machine. Got about 4.5 minutes in the practice session. These guys are going to do a little 4-car drafting here, it looks like. Melinda chiming in. Chris made it. Yes, she did. She was first one to the party. Where have you been? You're late. Just kidding. Qualifying hasn't even started yet. You're early. Appreciate you being here. So far in practice, the 40 of Jeff Napier has turned in the best time in the draft. David Bradford second, Justin Napier third, Carson Conway fourth, and Cody Harger was fifth fast. Sure, everybody's happy that we got fast repairs and reset buttons here tonight. Actually, I'm not sure about the fast repair as far as the race session is concerned. There may only be one, if any. Take a quick look at the rules here to be sure. One fast repair and 2 extra sets of tires will be available tonight. So they got a set on the car and 2 sitting in pit lane. Like I said, they may or may not opt for that right away. It might be a late race. Take a chance. We're in the back of the pack. Let's put some fresh rubber and see if we can charge towards the front. But again, tires I don't expect to be a huge issue. If the car's running well on the old tires, especially under green flag conditions, these guys are probably not going to take tires. Just a minute left here in the practice session, and we'll get into qualifying to set the field for the ARCA Series Daytona 200. Jeff Napier put in about 17 laps here in practice. Another heavy hitter for that was Brian Rose, put 30 laps in. Vincent Short, 17. Carson Conway, 27. A lot of HBR boys putting in the practice here tonight. David Bradford only 12. Qualifying session has begun. Let's see who takes to the track first. Looks like Will Hewitt will be first out. It's not rolling, but there he goes. These restricted engines take forever to come up to speed. Basically, it's like trying to run a marathon while you're breathing through a straw. It's the amount of air that these restrictor plates, on these cars at least, not a tapered spacer, restrictor plates really suffocate that engine for air and starve it. Really got to get the momentum and the speed up going first lap, lap and a half or so, really, before it's at full song. Will Hewitt driving that number 33 Fiver Chevrolet. Looks like some new colors for the 33. Will Hewitt at the line for his first lap, checks in 49.968. That puts him fourth quick. Alan DeFreeze top time at a 49.42, followed by Bobby Hamilton just about a tenth and a half back from that. Bobby's still got another lap to go. We'll see where Bobby checks in here. Lap one, like I said, a 49.57. Colt Ainsley now top of the board, 49.36. That was his first lap. And Bobby Hamilton to the checkered flag for his second lap in qualifying. Puts up a 49.25, good enough for provisional pole. Let's take a look at Vincent Short, always quick here on the super speedways, especially in qualifying. Off turn 4 into the tri-oval, will start lap 1 of his attempt. Colt Ainsley's second lap quicker as well, a 49.20. That puts him top of the board, just ahead of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Vincent Short turns 3 and 4. Number 15 U.S. Air Force machine. Lap 1 for Vince Short, 10th quick with a 49.34 on his first lap. Meanwhile, Mark Truxell is top of the board now, 49.18, a quick lap for the number 5. That was his second lap, so wouldn't expect to see an improvement there. Right now, top 3, Mark Truxell, Colt Ainsley. Cody Harger. 4th is Brian Rose, and 5th, Justin Napier. Lap 2 for Vincent Short. Let's see if he's improved. He has. P1. Lap 2 is a 49.150. Vincent Short from Hollerboy Racing. He is on the pole. He was last to check in, so that's going to seal the deal. Last out, top of the board. So let's go through our starting grid on the pole. Hollerboys Racing, the U.S. Air Force Chevrolet. Vincent Short to the outside is the number 5 of Mark Truxell. Third is the number 86 with Outcast Racing, Colt Ansley. Fourth, the Plasmine Technologies Charger Racing, number 66, Cody Hargers. Fifth is Brian Rose, Holler Boys Racing, Popple Machine. Sixth is Justin Napier with TCB Motorsports. Seventh, Bobby Hamilton Jr. with the Hateful Chicken livery on board in that number 16 machine. Eighth is the 33 of Will Hewitt with that Fiverr sponsorship from Outcast Racing. Ninth is Carson Conway, also Holler Boys Racing. 10th is Ellen DeFries. 11th is Jeff Napier in the number 40. 12th is Brian Reek, or Reck. Someone's going to correct me on that one, I'm sure. 13th is Alan Bargain Quest in the 17. 14th, rounding out the field, is David Bradford in the number 46. Now, just a reminder, David Bradford has made a team change in the offseason. David Bradford is now a Holler Boys Racing team member, so he's rounding out the field while teammate Vincent Short leads the field. So it'll be interesting to see David work his way through. Might just be strategizing to start from the back of the pack today. Let the chaos unfold out in front and pick up the scraps in the end. Lights on the pace car already off. Only one formation lap here before the green flag will fly. Now these ARCA cars, they draft really, really well because if you look closely to the roof line of these cars, they've got that wicker bill up top and a little bit of a lip on the rear spoiler, which really creates a big hole in the air that these cars can draft up with. It's going to create some really big runs, really quick closing rates. It's sometimes hard to judge, hard to block. A late block could cause a wreck. You just got to keep your eyes on that mirror for sure, but plan your blocks accordingly. Terry Ansley checking in. Go Team Colt. We're going to find out here in no time flat. 80 laps here at Daytona International Speedway. 200 miles in the Superior Class Auto Racing ARCA Series. Pace car is about to hit pit lane. The start will be on the flagger. Green is in the air. The field is underway. Vincent Short leading them to the start finish. We are green in the Daytona 200. Field coming up to speed through turns 1 and 2 down the backstretch. So far, Vince Short continues to lead into turns 3 and 4. Colt Ainsley second, Brian Rose third, Mark Truxell started second, dropped back to 4th under pressure by Bobby Hamilton Jr. for that position. You can see that first lap from Vince Short, 57 seconds. You can see how much time it takes for these restricted engines to really come up to power. Vince Short working that low line, protecting the bottom. Time will tell if that low line or high line becomes the preferred line. Either way, you're going to need some drafting help to make some moves here today. Brian Rose looking to the outside in front of Mark Truxell. Lap 2 under green. Look at that, 46.186 seconds. A lot faster. Don't look now, the 86 of Colt Ainsley has taken over the lead from the 15 of Vince Short. Vincent Short dropping back. Looks to be by design. Things getting too aggressive to the front. Work your way to the back of the pack. Let things unfold out in front like we were thinking David Bradford was going to do. He's still further back there. He's a few spots up from where he started, but still kind of just watching things unfold up front. Not wanting to push the issue too much. This is a full-length race for these cars. 80 laps, 200 miles. Back up front, Colt Ainsley. Colt Ainsley continues to lead. Driving down to the bottom into turn 1. A close block with the 89 of Brian Rose. Real early to be making that aggressive move. On board with Colt Ainsley. 89 of Brian Rose looking high for the lead. I don't know if he's going to clear him into 3. Not quite. Does have some help from the 5 of Mark Truxell. Not very organized on that high side, though. Can't pull off the pass just yet. Side by side down the Daytona backstretch. Brian Rose to the outside, Colt Ainsley to the inside. A push from the 5 for the 89 and some drafting help from the 16 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. to the inside. Mark Truxell swinging it high, backing out. Meanwhile, Brian Rose has slid down in front of the 86. We have a new leader off turn 4. Brian Rose to the point. Colt Ainsley looking low, doesn't have the help, but looks like the 16 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. going to make it 3 wide down the tri-oval into turn number 1. Bobby Hamilton Jr. to the lead. A brazen move by the hateful chicken number 16 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Swinging it from the bottom to the top to pass 2 or 3 cars to take over the top spot. Still 3 wide. We've got a diamond going down the backstretch with these top 4 cars. Into turn 3, can they keep it together? It's like the Blue Angels watching them negotiate turns 3 and 4 right now. The 01, Carson Conway, seems to be bottoming out quite a bit in the corners. Not sure if the ride height on that machine is just a bit too low. Meanwhile, Bobby Hamilton Jr. continuing to lead. Brian Rose tucks in the 2nd spot. Colt Ainsley now to 3rd. Mark Truxell is, well, he's 5th. Cody Harger has passed Mark for the 4th spot. Top 4 cars, single file. Side by side for 5th and 6th. That's Carson Conway and Mark Truxell. running through turns 1 and 2. Don't blink, you'll miss him. Down the back straightaway, Bobby Hamilton Jr. continuing to lead. Colt Ansley making a move for the second spot with some drafting help. He wants the lead into turn 3. Tucked in behind is the 5 of Mark Truxell. Seems to be a good pusher here today, 9 laps into the Daytona 200. Bobby Hamilton Jr. on the inside, and drafting help from Brian Rose continues to lead, holds on to the top spot. Mark Truxell not being very aggressive right now. Still a good pusher, but not pushing the issue. 86 of Colt Ansley on the outside, still stuck in the 3rd spot. Brian Rose wiggles a little, comes up to that middle lane, no contact made. Two by two by two by two by two by two, all the way back to the number 71 of Alan DeFries, side by side from front to back. You know, I want to say these guys are just kind of riding and trying to come up with a strategy for pit stops and the end of the race and where do you want to be when the white flag flies. But we're on lap 11, guys. These guys are racing like it's like there's rain coming and there's only 5 laps to halfway. No, it doesn't rain in the sim. Don't worry, at least not yet. It's coming. Up front, things still looking neat and tidy. Bobby Hamilton Jr. leads Brian Rose. 3rd place, Colt Ansley. 4th and 5th looks like Mark Truxell and Cody Harger. At the line, it's going to be Mark Truxell on the 5 with the 4th spot. Bobby Hamilton Jr. pulls to the inside. Looked like he was going to take a trip to the back, but sneaks back in front of the 66. Not sure if he had a change of heart to drop back to the back of the pack or if he just had an issue coming off turn 3, or turn 2 for that matter. Through 3 and 4, Brian Rose to the inside, but drafting help on the high side for Colt Ansley. Mark Truxell once again pushing the 86 to the lead. Colt Ansley takes over the top spot into turns 1 and 2 on lap 13. Looking out the back window of Colt's car at the rest of the field. These are all the hungry challengers he's going to have to fight off here for the next 77 laps. 67 laps. Yeah, I was never good at math. Clean and green out in front from the 86 machine. He still leads. Colt Ansley, your leader at lap 14. Challenger on the outside once again. Brian Rose with a push from none other than the 5 of Mark Truxell. Enough to get him down and clear of the 86. Brian Rose, your new leader. I gotta take a breath. Now Mark Truxell getting some help from the 33 of Will Hewitt. Mark Truxell was taking a look at the lead, but can't stay tucked up in front of that 33 machine, or maybe Will Hewitt trying to look to the outside. Either way, Brian Rose leads at the line. Colt Ansley's in 2nd. Mark Truxell back to 3rd. Tough to do when they're all tight like this, but let's go through the field real fast. Brian Rose is your leader in the number 89. Two Blessings Thrift Shop machine. 2nd, Colt Ansley. in the fiver Rickmo Tech number 86, trying to get these new sponsors down this year. Mark Truxall in the number 5 iRacing machine. Will Hewitt now running third in that number 33 fiver machine. David Bradford has worked his way up to the 5th spot from the last starting position in that number 46. Vincent Short, our pole sitter, who dropped back to the tail end of the field, has also worked his way back up into the top 10, running 6th. Justin Napier, the 54 Hateful Chicken machine. Yes, he is one of the Hateful Chicken cars and a former broadcaster, formerly with Staggered Broadcasting. He was kind of doing that full-time and driving part-time, and, well, here he is, full-time driver and doing well. I think he's already got a win early on in the Cup Series this year. That wasn't a regular season race, but he won the Clash. Jeff Napier, yeah, it's Justin's dad. He's running in the 8th spot, now 9th spot in that number 40 car. Alan DeFries just made the pass on Jeff. He's up to 8th in the number 71. Alan Bargain-Quest in the 17 machine. He is running in the 10th spot. Brian Reek in the 12. Newly acquired driver to the series. He comes over from the IROC series, if you're familiar with that. Great driver over there, and testing the waters here in the Superior Class Auto Racing ARCA Series. Again, Bobby Hamilton Jr. is now back to 12th. I think he's just kind of taking a break from the aggression that's happening up front. Cody Harger looks like the same thing. They're kind of the shake to one another's bake, if you know what I'm talking about. And Carson Conway rounds out the field in the 14th spot. But nobody's out of this. It's early on. We got a battle up front once again between Colt Ainsley and Brian Rose. These two just don't want to give it up, don't want to give an inch. They want to lead. Again, that pusher, the number 5, Mark Truxall, gets to the inside, actually, of Colt Ainsley, making it 3 wide off turn 2. Doesn't have any help. Oh, David Bradford slides in behind Mark. Going to give him a push down the back straightaway. Not quite enough for Mark Truxall to get out to that lead. Currently, Brian Rose keeps the spot. Now he has Will Hewitt in the 33 tucked into the back bumper. Some great action here up at the front at Daytona in the Superior Class Auto Racing ARCA Series. It's go time every lap. I'm just, my mouth is just dropped wide open watching this right now. The level of aggression is at 100%. They're doing it clean. No one's wrecked. Knock on wood. I don't want that broadcaster's curse to come into play right now, but just about 20 laps in, 10% of the race is down. Once again, I told you I was never good at math. It's not a 500-mile race. What am I doing? Either way, Brian Rose is still out front. I got that number right, the 89. Still getting a push from the 33. Seems content just to ride for now. Brian Rose continues just to click off laps and adding to that laps-led tally. Colt Ainsley has dropped back to about the 5th or 6th spot. Now the roles are reversed. Mark Truxall on that outside line with a push from the 15 of Vince Short. Let's see if Mark Truxall can do something with the 89 of Brian Rose. Let's ride on board with the 5 of Mark Truxall. Coming to the line here still appears to be Brian Rose as your leader, not by much. Now a challenge to the outside. Teammate Vincent Short with help from the 86 Colt Ansley. Vincent Short back to the front of the field with Brian Rose to his inside. These two are teammates. Once again at the line. Hard to say, but it looks like Brian Rose still gets credit for leading that lap. Cars down low, 4 cars up high. Those 4 cars in that high lane can really get nose to tail and stack it up. That's really going to give them the advantage, but they really need to organize. But since I've said that, the 5 of Mark Truxell goes down low, gets in that low lane, and gives them the advantage. Sparks flying from the 33 of Will Hewitt, getting a little bit too low down the apron, just enough to shorten up that side skirt. See Bobby Hamilton Jr. still riding at the back of the pack, showing the experience that he has at this type of racing. Able to recognize it's very aggressive up in that top pack. Too much for him right now, too early to be risking the car. Like I said, these guys do have a fast repair, but there's no need to burn it this early on. See what kind of speeds these guys are running in the draft. 194 into turn 3 for Brian Rose out front. 186 coming off of 4. "190 miles an hour through the tri-oval. Going at a pretty good clip. We've seen some guys crack the 200-mile-an-hour barrier so far. "196 into turn 3 this time by. Brian Rose still leading, though. Will Hewitt kind of taking a look down low, trying to see if there's some daylight that he can squeak that number 33 down to the inside, but not enough. Brian Rose still looking very strong out front in that number 89 Two Blessings Thrift Shop machine, putting on a good showing. Not sure what the pit window is here, but I'm sure they're getting close. At the line once again, Brian Rose clicks off another lap as our leader. Almost seems like Vincent Short content to ride in that second spot just to the outside of Brian Rose. Once again, it is relatively early. The field has seemingly calmed down just enough. You still have 3 rows side by side, but everybody back behind them seems to be getting single file and just content with riding. Like I said, fuel strategy, you got to plan for a pit stop here pretty soon. I'm not sure what the window is, but the tires on these cars are starting to wear. Again, it is Daytona. It's a super speedway. It's not as important as you'd expect it to be on a short track or a road course or something to that effect. But it makes a difference in how well these cars handle. It makes a difference in how aggressive you can change lanes. It's very easy to get crossed up, get the balance shifted to one side of the car or the other, and the next thing you know it, the car's backwards. Will Hewitt looking to the outside, a big move in front of the 15. Takes that middle lane. He's got the 86 of Colt Ansley up the middle, 3 wide, into turn 3. Top 5 under a blanket through turns 3 and 4. Unfortunately for Vincent Short, he has no help really. It's going to be a difficult task for him to not lose 5-6 spots here. I think Will Hewitt did get credit for leading that lap, but back on the inside, teammates Brian Rose and David Bradford fighting back. Still 3 wide for the 6th and 7th spot. While this goes on, we're going to take a very short crank it up style break. You won't miss a thing. Time for some speed shots. Lap 32, Will Hewitt continues to lead, still getting help from, I believe, teammate Colt Ansley in the 86. Brian Rose and David Bradford to the inside. Will Hewitt trying to work the side draft through turn 2. Colt Ansley trying to provide a draft, a push to his teammate, the 33. Also trying to keep part of that nose in the wind to keep that engine cool. Eyesight has the momentum, but down low seems to have the help. Give the advantage to the 89 off turn 2 for only a moment. There's the momentum we were talking about. Colt Ansley giving the 33 a push down the backstretch. Just enough to clear the 89. Will Hewitt takes the lead. time for me to say new leader. Colt Ansley no longer nose to bumper to his teammate. Has some drafting help from the 12 on the outside. Not quite enough to make its way around because that inside line has a big group of single file cars. At the line once again, Will Hewitt. A little wiggle through the tri-oval. Not sure if there was contact between he and the 89 of Brian Rose. That car definitely had a little bit of a wiggle. 36 laps in here at the Daytona 200. 36 of 80, almost to halfway. I'm really surprised they haven't had to pit for fuel yet. Field of 14, a little bit strung out. If you're just joining us and you look at this and you think, that's strung out? Yeah, you should have seen him about 20 laps ago. Could have fit them all in a 1-gallon Ziploc bag. Down the back stretch once again. Will Hewitt now continuing to lead on the inside. Definitely learned a little bit from watching the 89 dominate the first third of this race. Brian Rose does have some help from teammate David Bradford, but where are you going to go? Again, it's still relatively early. We're just shy of halfway. No points for winning the halfway. Coming to the line, starting lap 39. Still a little bit of a wiggle seen out of some of these cars in the pack. Like I said, these guys are definitely burning up tires at this point. We're halfway. I got to imagine that we're going to see some guys take tires and we're going to see some guys that don't. It's going to separate the men from the boys, I believe, because these cars are going to be a handful on old tires after 80 laps. Nine laps down, coming up on lap 40. Most of the field on the inside line, single file. There's 3 cars straggling on the high side. Again, I got to imagine we're real close to some green flag stops here. And if those guys on the outside want to get into the pit lane safely, they're going to have to get down into the inside lane in a timely fashion. Looked like Will Hewitt was going to duck into the pits right there, but did not do it. 40 laps down on a tank of fuel. These ARCA cars get some seriously good fuel economy. But that settles it right there. I mean, if these guys make a stop now, they're home free unless we have some green-white checkers. Colt Ansley, a little side draft to the 33. Nothing doing. Will Hewitt getting a bit out in front of the 89. Might be setting up pit stops for the 89 of Brian Rose. They're coming in. Green flag stops underway. Half the field peels off. Not even half. Everybody seems to make it clean except for Carson Conway. Gets into the back of Alan DeFries. Gonna have to take a look at the nose of the 01 of Carson Conway. See if we can get a good angle on it. Yep, there we go. Some definite damage to that machine. He's going to need to get that fixed. That's going to really hurt him in the draft. Fortunately, he's going to come out here with no drafting help at all. That's going to create some serious drag on that Popple Chevrolet. Meanwhile, Alan DeFries, he's back on track. Let's see if he's got any rear end damage. It looks pretty good. May have burned that fast repair. Don't know that Carson Conway is going to get another opportunity to use it. Again, broadcaster's curse, I say that. We are at Daytona. We have a lot of racing left. As long as he can stay on the lead lap here for the next 36.5 laps, he might be okay. If we get another yellow, Carson Conway can go in and get that damage repaired. Meanwhile, out front, Justin Napier and Jeff Napier, 1 and 2 here at the Daytona 200. I imagine they'll be pitting here shortly as well. Line of cars on the bottom. I imagine they're going to take this opportunity to get service on pit road. Diving off the speedway they come, filing real wide into pit lane. Cody Harger to the inside. Justin Napier with a hot entry into the pits. Hope they got him woed down. Cody Harger slides into the box. Sunoco Racing Fuel going in that Toyota Camry. No jack going up on this car. It's going to be fuel only for the Plasmine Technologies machine. Can number 2 going in. And he's off down pit road. So is Justin Napier. Cody Harger beats him out. Makes up, I think, 3 spots on that cycle. A good pit stop for the number 66 machine. Here comes the lead pack at speed on the outside. Vincent Short back up front. As soon as he gets by Justin Napier and Cody Harger, he's going to inherit the lead. Down low are the 66 and 54, but they should be easily able to follow into the backside of this pack, pick up their draft, work their way back up front. Lap 46 here in the Daytona 200. New leader, Vincent Short in the number 15. Second, David Bradford. Third is Brian Rose. It's an HBR top 3 right now on lap 46. Looks like the 17 of Alan Bargainquest had an incident on that pit cycle. Not sure if he got spun or just got caught out without drafting help. Watching Holler Boys Racing perform on these super speedways brings me back to the days of Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. You could not touch the 8 and the 15, and most times even the 1. Those cars were dominant back in those days, and it seems to be happening here with HBR. They've got something figured out. Not stealing all of the wins, but certainly always near the front, always in contention for a win. Lead pack, single file. Vince Short, David Bradford, Brian Rose, your top 3. 4th, Alan DeFries, and Colt Ansley's your top 5. Then we have Will Hewitt in 6th, Cody Harger 7th, and Justin Napier is in the 8th spot. Further back on the pack, we've got Mark Truxell, small group, Jeff Napier and Bobby Hamilton Jr. And then we've got, unfortunately, the 12 of Brian Reek all by himself, and Carson Conway just trying to keep that car running around this racetrack. You can just hear that engine is not up to full song. Definitely some damage to that 0-1 machine. Meanwhile, up front, David Bradford has made a move to the outside of teammate Vincent Short. Clears him for the lead and gets down in front. It's still in line on that low side, the 46, the 15, and the 89. Oh, David tried to make a move up to block. Did it a little bit late. Gets hung in the middle. Not sure if Brian Rose will be able to tuck in. He does tuck in. Brian Rose lets the 46 get down. Keeps that HBR trio together at the cost of giving Colt Ansley the lead. But inside looking 15, Vincent Short wants the lead back to the inside with help. This 2-car draft on the outside just isn't enough. Field working into turns 1 and 2. We've got lap 50. We've only got 30 to go. My math is improving. HBR 1, 2, 3 as it stands right now. We've got Colt Ansley 4th, Alan DeFries 5th, Will Hewitt is 6th, Cody Harger 7th, and we see Carson Conway getting lapped, unfortunately, going into turn 3. Hey, there's Eddie Rose. Two-car tandem of Colt Ansley and Will Hewitt, though they are by themselves on that high side. It seems to be working for them. They've got that tandem figured out. It's going to get those engines hot, but this might be something that comes into play on the last laps of this race. If they can tandem all the way around, they might be able to make a pass by this bigger pack on the bottom. Off turn 4 into 1. Short sliding that Chevrolet up into that middle lane ever so slightly on entry into turn 1. Remember, these guys, I don't think any of them got tires, just fuel. Which is actually rather interesting because looking at some of the pit times, the amount of fuel they had to take on, they could have gotten away with 4. At least 2. Too late now. Unless the yellow comes out, I don't see it happening. They got enough fuel to make it to the end. Same story up at the front. Pole sitter Vincent Short continuing to lead. Lap 53 of 80. On the high side, Colt Ansley and Will Hewitt trying to make some moves to the outside, trying to get out in front of that 15. They made it work earlier on, but in different positions. It was the pusher of Colt Ansley getting the 33 of Will Hewitt out front in front of the 15. Was able to clear at that time the 89 machine and led for some laps after that prior to the green flag stops. I still think they're going to need some more help on that high side to pull it off. They're doing a great job staying up there, but just don't have a big enough crowd to get them that extra push. Back at that second pack, only those three working together just off of turn 2 right now down the backstretch. It's Mark Truxell, Jeff Napier, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. They're really going to have to work together to draft up to that lead pack. They're quite a ways back, about 13.5 seconds that they have to make up just to be in it. Caution would certainly change everything at this point. Patience that I expected to see early on in this event, we are starting to see right now. Coming to 25 to go. Brian Reek, a lap car now, yielding to the lead pack. All these drivers in this front pack are all in strategy mode, trying to figure out the moves that they want to make here in late going of the Daytona 200. This is the big race. This is the first one of their season, but it's still Daytona. It matters. It's a big deal. We do our Super Bowls backwards in this sport. And here we are at Daytona in the ARCA series. It's big to win it. Goes a long way to the championship as well. Riding on board with Will Hewitt, the number 33 Fiver machine, as he's still tucked in behind the 86 of Colt Ansley. That Rick Motec Racing Simulators machine. Trying to learn something, trying to see what can be taken advantage of later on. The finish is coming soon, 24 laps to go. He's not the leader. About that. Still an HBR inside line, that top 3 cars there. Carson Conway getting lapped once again. Eddie Rose commenting, we've yet to see that Hateful Chicken instant replay tonight. Maybe it will happen. We will see. Great shots that we're getting here tonight, courtesy of Whiplash Media and their cameras. Brian Reek in that 12th machine has caught this pack. Unfortunately, he is a lap down. As we see, Carson Conway has made a pit stop to get that damage repaired. 21 laps to go in the Daytona 200. Vincent Short, your pole sitter, is still leading. David Bradford second, Colt Ansley third, Will Hewitt fourth, Brian Rose fifth, and that changes about every 100 yards. Carson Conway yielding to that lead pack once again. Looks like Cody Harger and Justin Napier are joining that high side pack, making it a pack of four with Colt Ansley, Will Hewitt, the 66 of Harger, and Justin Napier on the outside line. Inside line is Vince Short, David Bradford, Brian Rose, Alan DeFries, and, well, the 12 of Brian Reek, he's there. He's still a drafting partner, so to speak. He can push these guys, even though he's a lap down. I kind of look at him as a reliable pusher if he gets up into the mix. I don't see any damage to that car, so it's certainly a possibility here late in the race. It's certainly anybody's guess who's going to be able to pull this off tonight and drive their machine into victory lane. That said, even if you do win this thing, you may not be able to drive that thing into victory lane. You may end up on a tow truck dragging that thing back, but we're going to see. It's been very clean thus far. 61 laps into this 200-mile event. Almost did it again. Colt Ansley, a little bit of side draft to the 46 of David Bradford. It's been attempted a few times. I just don't see it being very effective so far. Usually with these cars, you can really get a decent side draft. Pull back that car to the inside and take advantage of the opportunity if you've got some help pushing you in the back. $18 to go. Vince Short still with the lead. HBR has certainly racked up laps led tonight. David Bradford, anticipating that side draft, drops a little bit below that yellow line just to avoid it. A lot of experience behind the wheel of that number 46 machine. Looking back to our second small pack, they have unfortunately dropped to about 26 seconds behind the leaders. Unless we get a caution, it's going to be an unfortunate set of circumstances for these three drivers. Back out front, another push to the lead. Will Hewitt making an attempt to get that 86 car out in front. Not enough yet. Help on the inside from teammates David Bradford and Brian Rose. Seems like that high side has dropped back a little bit, trying to get a run on our leaders. Trying anything they've got in the bag of tricks to try and get the 86 out in front of that 15. So far, it hasn't worked just yet, but again, these guys have been very patient, even up to this point with 15 to go. Through the tri-oval once again, 14 laps to go, field into 1 and 2. Vince Short continues to lead. All you guys down at the Hateful Chicken, every time I say Vince Short continues to lead, take a drink. Doesn't have to be alcohol, could be anything. Water if you'd like. Just play along. I mean, it can be alcohol. It's up to you. Just drink responsibly. To the line once again, 13 laps to go. Cole Ansley working that side draft on the 46 once again. Trying to make it work. It hasn't pulled off just yet, but he's not giving up. Vince Short getting right down to that yellow line, dragging that left side skirt a little bit on the apron. It's where those sparks were coming from. Upsets the balance of the car when you do that. If you get too far down, you're going to come around. He's got to be careful to keep that off the apron. I've seen it lap after lap here. The 86 and the 33 back up to the 66. Trying to get the push from Cody Harger. Trying to get a run on our leader, and it hasn't pulled off just yet. But if they time it just perfect, they may have an opportunity to get out in front of Vincent Short in that 15 car. I think Cody Harger realizes it's awful early to try and pull that off because it just gives whoever you pass the opportunity to do it back. 11 laps to go. Not much has changed up in this lead pack. Vince Short, Cole Ansley, David Bradford, Will Hewitt, Brian Rose, Cody Harger, Justin Napier, Alan DeFries. 8 cars. If you want to count the 9th of Brian Reek, he's up there too, but a lap down. Still can play a factor. As I say that, they've made it work. Cole Ansley has gotten in front of the 15 with help of the 33. Cole Ansley to the lead. Maybe the handling going away on the 15 of Vincent Short. It is late in the run. I don't think they took tires. 70 laps on these tires is a long ways to go, and expect the same kind of response. And look, Will Hewitt now to the front. The outside is coming alive. Let's see if Cody Harger can do the same with help from 54, Justin Napier, and Alan DeFries in that Monster Energy number 71. Will Hewitt, our new leader, off of turn 4. Cole Ansley, teammate, pushing the 33, keeping that vehicle out to the front, but help on the outside with Cody Harger and Justin Napier. Just under 9 laps to go to complete the Daytona 200 Superior Class Auto Racing ARCA Series presented by the Hateful Chicken. Hope everybody at the Hateful Chicken is enjoying this one because it's only going to get better. Do not step away from that bar stool yet. field as they run. Will Hewitt, Cody Harger, Colt Ansley, Justin Napier, Vincent Short, Alan DeFries, David Bradford, Brian Rose. Second pack is Mark Truxall, Jeff Napier, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. Once again, we've got a 5-car pack on the inside with a 3-car pack on the outside. These guys down low are going to have to work their way to the high side if they're going to push their way forward. It's certainly not happening down low. It's going to have to happen high. You're going to need to have the numbers. You're going to need to have help. Almost looks like David Bradford and Brian Rose are thinking about that right now. They were running the middle lane off of turn number 2. Big push from the 86 of Colt Ansley gives the 33 of Will Hewitt a little bit of a wiggle into 3, but he keeps the lead because of it. Some great teamwork going on here with Will Hewitt and Colt Ansley. Alan DeFries got to look to the outside of the 54 of Justin Napier. Into the wall ever so slightly. Keeps his foot in it. Might be an opportunity for Brian Rose to tuck in behind or pass the 71. We will see what he does. It looks like he's going to take the inside. Doesn't have any help from the 12 of Brian Reek. Brian lets him get in. Brian being a lapped vehicle, no need to push the issue. Oh, big wreck off of turn 4. Involves the 71 of Alan DeFries and Brian Rose. And others. Cody Harger's involved. Well, Eddie Rose, you called it. Time for the Hateful Chicken instant replay. Looks like Justin Napier pushing the 66, turns him right around and collects half of that pack. Brian Rose, David Bradford, Alan DeFries. 5 cars involved in this latest incident. I can imagine that I believe most of these guys have a fast repair because, oh man, big contact with Alan DeFries in the 66. Take another look at it from the tower. Cody gets turned, and man, big contact off turn 4. Cody Harger not grabbing the brakes. Just collects Alan DeFries hard on the inside. Well, that adds a whole new wrinkle to all of this. We've got cars coming down the pit lane. I'm sure they're going to burn some fast repairs here. And will they take tires? Like we said early on in the race, even pre-race, late in the race, if you're at the back of the pack, we haven't taken tires yet. Will these guys take tires? I can't imagine they wouldn't. I know I would. You know, I wouldn't say I'm no oval racing great by any means, but I would absolutely take tires. Cars are going in the air. We're getting fresh rubber for some of these guys for sure. Justin Napier's down and away. So's Cody Harger. Disadvantage here is on this restart. Looks like we're going to get it with 2 to go. Is that Will Hewitt will likely be on the inside and he'll have teammate Colt Ansley to the outside, which puts the 15 of Vincent Short behind Colt, and the 54 of Will Hewitt. I'm sorry, the 54 of Justin Napier behind Will Hewitt. Now the 54 has tires, just got a fast repair. That's basically a brand new car. Justin is certainly not shy about being aggressive, especially here late in the run. He did just turn the 66. It's kind of a product of the racing on super speedways, so I don't think we'll see an EOL penalty there. We might, but I don't know if I would expect it. But do you want to have the 54 behind you, given what just happened? Is he going to be aggressive and cause another spin, or is he going to be too passive and not give you enough of a push to keep you up front and get you past the 33? Vincent Short has shown some patience here tonight. Really hasn't had to do much other than defend. He's led a lot of laps this evening. Was on pole, led first few laps, and decided he's going to duck out, go to the back, and just let things unfold. We didn't have the big one yet. We had a kind of big one, just given the size of the pack, but look what this has done. We've got 12 of our 14 cars back on the lead lap. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has caught the pack. He's running in about the 9th or 10th spot. So to go through the lead lap cars, we've got Colt Ainsley on the outside. Will Hewitt's the leader. Justin Napier, Vince Short, Cody Harger, Brian Rose, Alan DeFries, David Bradford, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Mark Truxell, Jeff Napier, and now Brian Reek back on the lead lap because I believe he was the recipient of the lucky dog. So it's go time. We got 3 laps to go. Green flag's going to come out with 2 to go. That first lap is pretty much just going to be a get up to speed lap, which can be kind of dicey. So don't go anywhere. I don't care if you need to go to the bathroom. I would wait, because if you do, you're going to miss it. Pace car's hitting pit lane. The green flag's out. Will Hewitt's off. Out to a big jump. May have timed it. Maybe not quite. The 86 gets turned by Vince Short into the tri-oval. No caution. Colt Ainsley does not collect the wall, but he is going to collect last place, unfortunately. Up front, Will Hewitt. Justin Napier coming to the outside. Not a lot of drafting help yet, but another push. Vincent Short into the 33, gets him crossed up, doesn't spin him, but backsliding they go, the 33 and the 15. Vincent Short, trying to push for the lead, has spun the 86 and gotten into the 33. It's cost him and everybody else, but the 89 and 71 make contact. They're in the wall. Cody Harger's the new leader. For now, Justin Napier to his inside. To the line, at the line, leading 1 lap to go. It is Justin Napier in the 54 Hateful Chicken Machine. To his outside is Cody Harger. We're up to speed. David Bradford pushing the 66. To the inside is Will Hewitt pushing the 54. Jeff Napier wobbling all over the inside of the corner there. Not sure which lane he's going to take. Will Hewitt look into the 54, spins Justin Napier down the backstretch. Now 33 gets turned by Bobby Hamilton Jr. Cody Harger keeps the lead. David Bradford looking high. No help, looking low. David Bradford to the inside of Cody Harger off turn 4 for the final time. He's got some help, or does he? Maybe not. Mark Truxell looking to the high side. It's a photo finish. Truxell wins the race. David Bradford getting turned in the tri-oval. I think Mark Truxell pulled that one out of his hat. I'll have to go back to the finish to be sure, but I think the 5 of Mark Truxell has won the Daytona 200. What'd I tell you? If you got to go to the bathroom, don't go. I hope you didn't go, because if you did, you missed it. That's all right. We'll replay it. Certainly looks like the win has gone to the 5 of Mark Truxell. Truxell. I think I could say his name right for once. He's told me before. Top three, Mark Truxell with the win, David Bradford second, Brian Rose third. Wow. What do you say? All right. Well, let's see if we can pull in our top three. Mark Truxell, this is Steve in the HBR booth. Are you with me?
Yes, I got you, Steve.
I don't even know where to start, man. That was incredible. How did you do that?
Oh, man, just had to hold on to the steering wheel real tight and just had to go for it. They was leaving the door open just enough for me, so couldn't back down.
Grip it and rip it, so to speak. They really did leave it open. I thought it was David Bradford's, and then I thought it was Cody's, and then David got turned, and I have to go back and look. I think you won it by 4/100ths of a second. What an incredible finish.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, that brings back memories of me and Justin's race. Seems like Daytona is the only place I can win. But,
yep.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Yeah, I mean, Daytona's a pretty good place to win if you're only going to win at one place. Daytona is certainly the place to do it. So that is awesome. What a great race. I mean, what was your strategy coming in? Was it just kind of hang out in the back and, let the chaos unfold, or what was your plan?
Well, after halfway, I realized I didn't have any friends when I pitted by myself. So I just thought that's where we was going to finish at, the way it was running, unless they wrecked. And after that, it was just go for it.
Well, it was certainly awesome to watch. I thought you guys were dead to rights later on in the race before that first caution came out. You and I think it was Jeff and Bobby were running in that 3-car pack, and you just kept losing time and losing time. Then the yellow comes out, and I said it to everybody else. I said, this changes everything, and it certainly did. So congratulations on the first win of the season. The Daytona 200 is yours. Do you have anybody you want to thank for helping you get this done this season?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for the broadcast and Bobby and everybody for the lead to start off with. I want to thank my mom. She's always watching. Little Tate's Cupcakes, MCF Construction, and Highways Auto Body Auto Repair. And thank the good Lord tonight.
Also, very good things to be thankful for. I do have to ask, tell me about Little Tate's Cupcakes, because that's always been on your car as long as I've been racing in this league and now broadcasting. What is that?
Well, a little short story behind it. My sister used to do it for friends, and she passed away from cancer. And my daughter got her big mixer that she used, and she just started having feelings for her one day and started baking cakes for people like my little sister did, and she's turned it into a business, and she opens her store on December 1st.
Well, that's awesome. That's a really good way to support them, and it's a heartwarming story for sure. Great that they're on the car with you for this victory, and hopefully many more to come.
Yeah, 10-4. Yeah, she will always be on my car, and that's her name on the passenger side of my other race cars. And, yeah, Little Tate's Cupcakes will always be number one.
Well, all right, Mark. Once again, congratulations, and we'll see you in a couple weeks here at Five Flags.
All right, thank you, guys, and thanks, everybody, for a good race.
That's Mark Truxell, your winner of the Daytona 200 Superior Class Auto Racing ARCA Series season opener. We're going to talk to David Bradford next, our runner-up. David Bradford, Steve in the HBR booth. Are you with us?
Yeah, man.
So close, but oh so far away. Tell us about turn 4 to the line. I thought you had it. How did it go down for you?
Well, I kind of knew in turn 3 I didn't have it. I just made that move a little too early, but it was one of them. I saw it, so I had to do it, and it might have been my only shot at it because I knew they would be coming back to me. I thought about when I got into 3 to back up to the pack, but I kind of felt like I was just going to get run over if I did that. I don't have the experience in this car. I don't know if I would have been able to run Cody back down, backing up like that. So, I just saw it and I had to do it. I knew it was the wrong move, and I knew it was too early when I was doing it, but I had to go for it, man.
Now, you see a window open, sometimes you just got to go for it. You and your HBR teammates, Vince Short and Brian Rose, were 1, 2, 3 on that inside lane for quite a while in the latter third of the race. Was it just a matter of trying to pick your spot and just waiting for things to happen? What was the strategy at that point? Was there a strategy at that point?
Really, just my strategy at that point was keep Vince out front. I don't plan on running every ARCA race, so I want to help him get points when he can and help those guys get all the finishes, the best finishes they can. Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. I was comfortable to just sit there and ride. I think this was one of the least exciting ARCA races I've ever been in. I know we were too wide the whole time, but it drove fairly good. Wasn't a whole lot of problems out of it. A little loose in the corners, but other than that, it just seemed like once we hit 5 to go, everybody's light bulbs went off and the calamity started.
Well, maybe from your perspective, it wasn't as exciting, but certainly up here in the booth, it was really a great race to watch. I mean, the first third of the race, there was a lot of action. Guys were being aggressive. I even said it on the broadcast. It seemed like, someone said rain's coming and we're almost to halfway. I mean, that's what it looked like out there. There was a high level of aggression, at least in that front pack. Things kind of settled down about midway, and then, of course, as always happens, the latter third got a little crazy. But you mentioned tire strategy and how it was getting a little loose. I mean, did you take tires at all this race? I know some guys got them late after the yellow came out, but are you still on the originals?
No, after we got caught up in that wreck there with Justin and Cody off of 4 there, I went ahead and took my fast repair and changed 4 tires on it because I was already there, so couldn't figure it hurt. I didn't take any fuel though, just to try and keep the car a little bit lighter. I felt like that would be better. I felt like the car, the spoiler angle was still going to be at the same angle no matter if I put fuel in it or not. So went ahead and did that, and the car seemed to be pretty fast. Like I said, I was in the right spot to win the race. I just didn't do the right thing, and the guys, I've been busting their balls ever since that Talladega race that I watched them in, Vince and all them, about getting on and off pit road. Man, we killed it this week. Came out in front of everybody, timed it right, came off pit road. Vince had a run on me, so I let him go by, and then I caught up to him, and man, we did everything right.
It's a conversation that's had quite often in these broadcasts. His practice certainly does seem to make a difference. Congratulations on the second spot. Too bad it wasn't a win, but will we see you at Five Flags next week or 2 weeks from now, or no?
It depends on what I'm doing, man. I got a baby coming soon, right at the beginning of December, so it depends on what I'm doing. I try not to race too much so I can help out as much around the house and stuff like that, because I do race every Tuesday. I don't miss that. And I try to do other things throughout the week with the BCR guys still, and I just try to keep everything level, between the house and this. So we'll see.
Well, fair enough. It'll be a race day decision for David Bradford at Five Flags. Congratulations on second spot. Maybe we'll see you, maybe we won't, but if not, we'll definitely see you tomorrow in the Cup car.
Yeah, man, for sure. Just one more shout out to Mark Truxell. I know he doesn't get too many of these, so good job to him. He really timed it right there.
Speaking of shout outs, anybody you want to thank for helping you get things done this season?
Oh, yeah, the HBR guys for coming on and picking me up and, letting me come join their team after my team kind of left. Was looking for somewhere to go. Had some opportunities, but I figured this one would be the best one for me. And all the social media y'all do, I think it's a pretty good workout. I think I can bring a whole lot to the team, and they can help me with other stuff, man.
Well, David Bradford has certainly been a help to HBR. Again, congratulations on second. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, man.
All right, next up we will go to third place, Brian Rose, also from Holler Boys Racing. Brian Rose, it's Steve in the HBR booth. Do you got us?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Brian Rose brings it home third. It looked like early on you were the car to beat, led some laps. You were running in that top 2, top 3 for quite a while. What was your strategy coming into tonight? And talk us through those last 5 laps.
Well, obviously we wanted to stay out of trouble, sometimes you just got to, get the temperature of how the race is going to be. And tonight it seemed like if I was out front, that was where, if a wreck was going to happen, I felt like it was going to happen behind me. Um, but no, got to say that green flag pit stop, all of us, I mean, we had a little issue, a little hiccup with Carson. Would have been nice to got him up there, but we got on, we got off pit road, came out in the lead, executed to perfection. That last lap, I found myself in a terrible position. I was all the way in the back, and I was just waiting to see what was going to happen, honestly. Everybody started weaving in and out, and coming out of 4, I got a heck of a run. Could have maybe got to the wall and pushed the issue and took it 3 wide. I don't think I would have got there. I saw David down there, and it was a last-second decision. Do I just lay off of him or push him? So I just laid into the rear end and was hoping to push him across the line in front of Mark. But congratulations to Mark for sure.
Well, it was certainly entertaining to watch. Congratulations to you on the 3rd spot. Too bad it wasn't a win, but top 3 to start the season. It's a good points day. We hate to hear that sometimes, and sometimes that's the hardest pill to swallow is, hey, it was a good points day. But I guess in the end we'll take it because the last race of the season, you look back at these days, and you're like, yeah, good thing we had that good points day and we didn't end up 12th or 13th or on a wrecker. So is there anybody you want to thank for helping you get things done here in the ARCA series this year?
No, absolutely. Two Blessings gift shop for coming on board, sponsoring this car. Everybody watching tonight, a Hateful Chicken, appreciate you guys. Make sure to go like Two Blessings gift shop on Facebook. You can find the link on Holler Boys Racing page. Be entered for a chance to win some gift cards. Popple for sure. Everybody at HBR, we appreciate everybody and everything that everyone does. Just going to turn to 5 flags now and see where we can improve.
Well, Brian Rose, congratulations again on 3rd spot. We'll see you in a couple of weeks at 5 flags. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Last, we're going to try and pull up Vince Short. I'm not sure if he's still here or not. Let's give it a shot. Vincent Short, Steve in the HBR booth. Are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Vincent Short. Had a good run going tonight. P1 with an excellent time in qualifying. Had a shot there late for the win. Walk us through those last few laps. I know you had an incident with Colt Ainsley. It looked like you just weren't going to give an inch. It's late in the race. And a little bit of contact with the 33 of Will Hewitt. Tell us about that.
Well, coming up to that last one, I had the guys behind me. They had pushed me almost all race long, and it was one of those deals where Colt and Will got ahead of me, and they just weren't moving at all. So Dave and Brian took advantage and tried to slide up high and try to get a run up high, which I was fine with. At that point, with me leading the most laps, having a lap lead point, and then the pole, I wasn't going to get greedy and be happy with wherever I finished, which 6th is perfectly fine with me. That was my goal, was to start the season off with a halfway decent finish and not start off in a hole. What was that?
Was there a strategy late in the race after that caution? Just kind of foot to the floor, go to the front?
Yeah, pretty much. With us together, it was just one of those deals where we were looking for the opportunities, and David told us if it presents itself, then take advantage of it. Don't wait for the rest of us, which they did, and they actually had a good opportunity there when that gap opened up high. They were able to get that run, and so it was one of those deals where I just stayed down low. I got boxed in, so I wasn't going to push the issue at all.
Well, congratulations. Not a top 5, but close. You had a good run, a good pole position, and look forward to seeing you at 5 flags in a couple of weeks.
10-4. Thanks for the broadcast. Thank my wife, Nikki, who's working late tonight. She'll have to watch a replay of it. Holler Boys Racing, Holler Boys TV, US Air Force, Popple, all our sponsors. Thank everybody. And, of course, the SCAR League, best league around. Thanks.
Thank you, Vince. I want to see if I can pull up Will Hewitt. Will Hewitt, Steve in the HBR booth. You got me?
I got you.
Will Hewitt. Man, you look good out there tonight. Didn't get the result that you were hoping for. 11th certainly does not represent the run that you had this evening. Walk us through those last couple of laps. I thought you had it, and then got contact, I think, from the 15 on the backstretch. You gathered it up, but just too late to do anything about it. Walk us through it.
Yeah, I mean that restart. Colt and I were trying to get hooked up, and he miscalculated getting in or something. Something happened there, and so I lost my teammate there, and I knew it was not looking good at that point. Yeah, then Vince got into me, lost my momentum, but then I came back up. But yeah, then I got a run on Justin, and he went up to block, and I crossed him over. But I mean, he just came down a little bit. You know, it's super speedway racing. It's the kind of stuff you see all the time. It's no big deal.
Well, it was certainly a wild finish to watch from the booth for sure. I know the fans watching the broadcast certainly got their money's worth. It was probably free, but regardless, it was a good race. I mean, some were saying that, at least you guys in the field were saying, it didn't seem like that much of an exciting ARCA race, but I beg to differ. I was telling David Bradford the first third of the race, it seemed rather aggressive. I don't know what your take on it was, but guys seemed to be pushing and moving around and trying to jockey for position, whereas the midsection kind of calmed down a little bit, and then, of course, things get crazy in the end. But was that kind of your take? Was it aggressive early and then not so much in the middle, or was it kind of dull on your end?
Yeah, it was pretty scary early. I was hanging in the back because I saw how aggressive it is, and I know how these guys race at the beginning of races. It's always really aggressive in the beginning. It slows down in the middle, and then really aggressive at the end. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it played out. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge Daytona guy. We come to these races and everyone wrecks, and but it's where you gotta start the season. So I'm just I can't wait for it to be over.
Well, congratulations on at least a good showing. Not a great finish, unfortunately, but will we see you in a couple of weeks at Five Flags?
Definitely gonna go win that.
Good to hear it. Before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank? I see you got some new stickers on that car this weekend.
Yes, sir. I'd just like to thank new sponsor Fiverr, and that's all we got. And Rick Motec.
Fiverr and Rick Motec on the 33 machine. Congratulations once again to Will Hewitt on a good showing. We'll keep an eye out for him to try and win at Five Flags in a couple of weeks. Thanks, Will.
Thank you, sir.
Well, that about wraps up the interview portion of our broadcast. We got a little more in than we usually do, but first race of the season, it's Daytona. There was a lot of action. There's a lot of storylines to cover. Whew. Yeah, I'm tired. That was a good one. Great race. A lot of action. I hope everybody out there watching enjoyed it. I certainly did. Just to go through our finishing results here. Again, of course, Mark Truxell was the winner of the race. David Bradford was second. Brian Rose from HBR was third. Cody Harger fourth. Bobby Hamilton Jr. sacrificed early. Ended up back in the pack for one reason or another, but managed to scrape together a top 5 finish. Not usually where I expect to see Bobby Hamilton Jr. at these events. He's usually right up in that top 3, but still made it back up to 5th. Vincent Short, the same situation. Our pole sitter dropped back to the back, worked his way back to the front, then gets crossed up with the 86 and a little bit of contact with the 33. It kind of ended his run to the front as well as a couple of others. He brings it home 6th. Jeff Napier in the 40 machine. A good run for Jeff Napier, brings it home 7th. Alan DeFries 8th. Colt Ansley, a disappointing 9th for him. Of course, he was up front most of the evening, had a great opportunity at winning this race, and it just didn't work out for the 86. Again, Will Hewitt finishing in the 10th spot officially. Justin Napier in the 11th. 12th was Brian Reek. I'll have to do some research on the last name. 13th, Howler Boy Racing's Carson Conway. And 14th, rounding out the field, that number 17 is Alan Bargain Quest. Now, we said we'd go back and take a look at that finish, so let's try and do that real quick. Checkered flag. Photo finish. Let's see which camera has the best angle here. We're going to try this one. Hateful Chicken instant replay. Coming off 4. Gaggle of cars. At the line. Mark Truxell. Okay. Not a great replay. Let's try a different one, shall we? Mark Truxall is third coming off turn 4. Gets into the 66, breaks the momentum of Cody Harger on the outside. Brian Rose trying to push teammate, turns David Bradford. Let's go back at it again here. Coming to the line right there. Wasn't as close as I thought it was, but if David Bradford hadn't been turned, it would have been unbelievably close. I mean, we're still talking 4/100ths of a second margin of victory. That's pretty tight. So there you have it. That is the finish of the Daytona 200, the Superior Class Auto Racing ARCA Series. And just like that, my overlays have locked up. Not a worry. We can fix that. I want to go over a couple of sponsors. The Hateful Chicken, of course. Yes, the Hateful Chicken is one of our primary sponsors here in the Superior Class Auto Racing League. We appreciate everything that they contribute to this league. I also want to put a special thank you out there to Whiplash Media for providing the onboard cameras for tonight's event. They're working with us, hopefully get some different cameras here for the TV broadcast for the Cup Series in tomorrow's event. So keep an eye on that for some new and exciting views here from Daytona International Speedway. That's going to wrap things up. I'm Steve Singer in the HBR booth. This was the Daytona 200. Congratulations to Mark Truxall on that number 5 Little Tate's Cupcakes machine. We'll look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for the Cup race and in a couple of weeks here at Five Flag Speedway for the next ARCA Series race.